What is up, everyone, and welcome back to some more F1 23. We are in the Streamers & Co VRL for round 3 at Texas for the United States Grand Prix, and I am very excited for this one. This is a track where, if you watched the previous season of the Streamers & Co VRL, you may remember that I got a podium finish here thanks to some pretty solid wet weather driving coming out from myself. I think we qualified either second or third, and yeah, we just managed to weave our way around all the incidents and chaos that were going on. We had a great battle with the eventual champion, Dougie Falcons, and I'm hoping that we can have a similar kind of race today. If it rains, fingers crossed, we can finally grab some points this season. But the one thing that might stand in our way this time is this is the first time in the history of the Streamers & Co VRL we have had a full group of 20 drivers. We usually have maybe 15 to 17 on an average weekend. But yeah, this time we've got 20 whole drivers, so I am actually for the first time thinking that maybe if there aren't a massive amount of incidents, we may not score points, which, you know, I never felt that way in the previous season. I always felt like I had the pace to at least be in the points, but now I'm not so sure. So yeah, we're in qualifying. Our first quali lap was a 1:35.9, but we did get quite significantly blocked. On our second flying lap, we got a little bit blocked there by Jermaine. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, we're definitely improving here by, it's looking like it's going to be about 1.6 seconds or so. And yeah, hopefully this is a little bit better, but it doesn't look like it's still going to be a major improvement. It's a 1:34.2. It still puts us about 5/10 off of Phil and Ryan in front, and really I should be doing a little bit better than this. We should really be among those guys at least, but then it rained, and that kind of put a bit of a spanner in the works. So I feel like P11 probably would have been possible here. I don't know if I'd have been able to mix it with the likes of Mint and Josh and Antoine up front, but yeah, I think I probably could have been in with Ryan and Phil and NWE here. So yeah, a little bit disappointed to only come away with 14th. But hopefully we can bounce back. We're gonna have Alex, that sim racer, behind us. He's gonna be working his way through the field, the current championship leader, of course. So yeah, I'm not particularly optimistic about our chances of keeping him behind for very long. But hopefully we can carve our way through the field and have a good battle with some of these guys around us. Of course, first we got to focus on the race strategy. I was looking at the strategy, and initially I was thinking to myself, yeah, the softs are not going to be good here. But then I came to the realization that I forgot to change the stint length of the softs down from 11 laps. Of course, the softs won't be able to do 11 laps, but maybe if I change the stint length to sort of 8 or 9, and all of a sudden you can see that it's actually not that different. And so I decided, yeah, I was going to do soft medium. It looked like there was a chance that we'd be going pretty deep into tire wear territory. But you know, if I can hold on to these tires, if I can look after them, then hopefully we should be able to have a good race here. Is my thinking. And yeah, we're all getting ready to go now as the lights come on. And the lights eventually go out. And we've had a good getaway compared to those on the medium compounded tyres. Mint block has gone basically nowhere. NWE also had a slow start. We make a bit of contact there with Mint. And as we make our way into turn 1, I think that was about 5 wide between Jermaine on my outside and then Mint on my inside. Phil was on his inside. And I think the guy who's standing in for Haas, KK, he was also on Phil's inside. So it was never going to work. We had Mint getting caught up in an incident there. I think Josh has had a spin there as well. So yeah, that's already a couple people down the order, and that's allowed us to make up a couple more positions. I think RC there perhaps didn't see us or something like that, because he just turned straight in on us, but now he's braked pretty deep for this corner, so that allows us to make our way up into P15. And so we've only lost 1 position off the start, which, given that we got very pinched at the start, you know, I think that's not too terrible to only have lost 1 position as a result of that. You know, both of the Alfa Romeos, Mark and Alex, both of them made up a number of positions. My teammate as well, KK, he made up several positions off the start, I think, because he was, you know, going to the inside of that entire fight. So yeah, he was able to jump quite a few people. But yeah, now we're just finding ourselves down in this position in what is it, 15th at the moment. and hopefully we can just sort of work our way through the field over the course of the next, 19 laps now as we make our way to the end of the first lap. We've got Phil directly in front of us, and as we brake very deep into the final corner, I'm just trying to see if I can stay with him. He's also on the soft compound tyres. We've got Mark directly ahead of him on the mediums as well. I got RC behind me, so I'm going to have to hope that he doesn't go for a move on me. He actually seemed to have pretty solid pace on that opening lap there. You know, he stayed with me as my teammate KK here. He's starting to fall down the order a little bit. As Kaznuki's getting out the way of everyone there. That promotes us up into 14th. I don't know if he's had some kind of damage or something like that, but yeah, he's falling down the order quite quickly. We're just going to try and stay with KK, see if we can make a move on him soon as we get our first track limits warning, so we need to be careful not to get too many more of those. But yeah, if the opportunity arises, hopefully I'll be able to get past him. Unlike Beak, I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to just jump out of my way to give me position. You know, Beak obviously did do that in Japan. Then we had Raoul as my teammate last weekend, and he was obviously a little bit faster than me over the course of the weekend, in no small part due to my connection issues. But yeah, I think we have a pretty good chance of getting past KK fairly quickly here as he goes very deep into that corner. He's wide to the outside. We're wheel to wheel going into the next corner, and he just breaks way too deep into the corner and breaks into the back of Mark. And yeah, that's very, very disappointing for Mark, who had a very good start, to be fair. He was up into 13th, having started last because of some problems in qualifying. Yeah, we find ourselves all the way up in 12th now. And well, we've got Mint Block for company behind. Obviously, he had a poor start. He had a bit of an incident off the beginning, and now he is back up into 12th position ahead of us, and I reckon that he will probably stay there, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't see a world in which I'm able to get past him with any kind of you know, pace or anything like that. I think I can't remember if he'd already boxed at this point or not. I know that he I think he obviously had an issue at the beginning, but I can't remember if he boxed off the back of it or not. He's a guy who has very strong pace on his day. You know, in some of the races that we did last season, he was right up there in the points. I think he even got a podium on one occasion. You know, he's a fast driver, so we can't take that away from him. And I think I'm going to find it quite difficult to sort of keep pace with him. I'm going to try with the DRS, especially because if I fall out of his DRS range, I think that will leave us very susceptible to Jermaine behind as well. So yeah, it's of critical importance that we try and stay with him for as long as we can. But we had a bad exit from the final corner there, and that allowed Jermaine through even with the DRS. And well, maybe my softs are just starting to go off a little bit, I don't know, but I definitely don't seem to have the pace that I was running with at the beginning of the stint. Phil has massively broken away from us at the moment. He's battling with NWE up in P10, I believe. They're currently fighting over 10th position, and all that fighting has allowed myself, Jermaine, and Mint Block to kind of catch up to the back of them as well, as they were going wheel to wheel. And yeah, that kind of allowed us to get into the fight. There's a yellow flag behind, not sure what that's for. Maybe someone went off the track momentarily or something like that. But yeah, regardless, everything seems to have cleared up now from what I can see. And as we make our way onto lap 8, if you look at the bottom, you can see that Kaznuki has retired and he's gone. He was complaining that basically he got damage at the start and that kind of ruined his race. So yeah, disappointing for him. We've kind of fallen out of the DRS range of the cars in front of us now. I think Lewis is likely to catch up to us before the end of the lap, as well as, oh, Mint Block's had a bit of a spin there or something. I think he's just about managed to correct that, but he's fallen down a position or two. Disappointing for him. I think he was battling with Phil at the time, but yeah, he finds himself now down in P11. Like I said, Lewis catching. He's already boxed onto the hard tyres, and he'll probably be going to the end on those tyres, I imagine. So he's effectively a pull fit stop. That's not quite correct. But yeah, what was I saying? He's a full pit stop behind us, and yeah, we're gonna now box to go onto the soft compound tyres, and we will see what we can do on the medium tyres as we box onto those. Phil's also coming in. I think Ryan also came in, but he's quite a distance ahead of us at this point. Ryan and Phil actually both go onto the hard compound tyres. I've gone onto the mediums. Will they be able to hold up to the end, or will it be that Phil starts to break away at the end or not? We'll have to find out over the course of these, this next stint, whether that is the case or not. Phil currently 2.1 seconds ahead of us as we exit the first corner, and we're going to see if we can try and close him down. Use the pace of the mediums that we have at the moment, having gone onto them. To see if we can catch up with him or not. It seems like we are closing the gap, little by little. In fact, it's a bit more than that. We made up about 5/10 on him on this lap. So if we can keep doing that, we should be within striking distance of him by about lap 11 or 12, I would say. Depends on when we get the DRS. You can see we've already brought the gap down to 1.2. I reckon we'll be in DRS range by the end of this lap with how we're going. We didn't have DRS there, but we burned quite a lot of battery. I think maybe had an exit that was quite poor from that corner, and that has allowed us to catch right up with him, and we are just 6/10 down on him now. So I think we're going to go for an overtake on him in one of the DRS zones on the following lap, if I had to guess. And I can imagine that he is going to be pretty nervous at the moment. At least I would be. GG Josh coming into the pits again. I think he's already boxed once in this race. So he finds himself currently in 15th. I think he's going to come out ahead of KK in the other Haas, just about. And we're going to be in a bit of a no man's land, myself and Phil. We're very close to one another. I'm right on his tail. I'm trying not to go into the back of him at the moment because he does seem marginally slower through these S's than I am, but that makes sense when he's on slightly less grippy tyres than I am. And then the next car up the road is Mint Block, who's yet to pit on those medium compound tyres. So once he boxes, he should be behind us as well. And I think there's a few other cars up in front, NWE, and I don't know. There's one other as well who is yet to pit. So we'll see what the impact of all of this is as we do overtake Phil eventually up into P13, and I believe this is going to be net P10 once everyone else boxes. We will see whether that rings true or not. Jermaine, I think, is the other car that's yet to pit, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's going to be myself P10, and then Phil P11, and then I don't know where everyone else is going to come out in relation to Josh, but I reckon those three guys, once they pit, should come out around there, if I'm not mistaken. So Mint Blocks come in now. That promotes us up into P12, and all this time we're just trying to keep Phil at bay a little bit, but he is going to have the DRS in this next DRS zone, which may allow him to go for an overtake, but he actually decides against it there. I think he probably could have gone for it if he wanted to, but I think right now he's just biding his time, waiting to sort of go for the move on me and seeing what he can do. NWE with 16 seconds of penalties there, so I'm not sure what he did. But we are now up into P10, and I don't think we're going to be catching Ryan in front. You can see we're closing the gap a tiny bit, but not really by enough to make him scared or anything like that. And we're just going to be seeing if we can consolidate at 1 point in this race. I think that's all we're going to be racing for at the moment. Phil overtaking us. He gets back into that points paying position of P10, and we're going to have to try and regroup and see if we can catch him once again. I think that this is going to be a pretty interesting battle. He goes a little bit. I don't know exactly what happened there, but he seemed to have a bit of oversteer on the exit of the corner. So hopefully that's not going to affect him too much. And he's now a lot closer to us than he was before, less than 2/10 the gap as we move into the final few corners of the lap. And we're actually right on the back of him now, so I reckon with the DRS here, if we brake well through this corner, which actually we made a bit of a meal of that, so we're a lot further behind him all of a sudden. It was quite hard to predict how he was going to take that corner. People take that corner slightly differently, but we're just about close enough to look up the inside. He goes a bit deep into the corner, leaves us some room, and we walk straight through the door. But he is going to try and fight us back on the exit of the corner. We're going to be wheel to wheel through these next few corners, and by the time we get to the S's, I'm just about ahead of him, just in time to have the worst S's that I have ever driven in F1 23, certainly. I believe Phil's exact words there when we were racing was something like, "He's all over the gaff," which is a polite way of saying that my driving was absolutely shit. Yeah, he's still right on the back of us as a result. But one thing that did enable is Josh and Mintblock, who are down in P12 and 13, to really start to close the gap to me and Phil. When you consider that they're both on the soft compound tyres anyway, I reckon that they're definitely going to catch us before the end of the race, as Phil re-overtakes once again at the end of that DRS zone. So yeah, unfortunately my bad driving through the S's kind of compromised my chances of breaking away from Phil. I really wanted to break that DRS, but I just couldn't quite do it, no matter how hard I tried. And we're going to have to now try and stay with Phil once again to see if we can get back past him. The problem is that when I was behind Phil, I felt like I had really strong pace. But as soon as I overtook him, for some reason, I just couldn't maintain that same level of pace. I don't know why that was, but yeah, we were really struggling. We were just about staying in the DRS zone every single time, or in DRS range, I should say, every single time. So we were able to maintain that sub 1 second gap. It grew to over 1 second a couple times, but we were able to get the DRS every single time. So yeah, we've stayed with him. Lap 16 now, 5 laps to the end. There's a yellow flag. I think that is for Damo F Crew, who has retired from the Grand Prix there. Caution. And yeah, that is going to allow us to not really do anything. I think he was quite far down. And NWE behind has also retired from the Grand Prix. So that brings the number of cars running down to just 17. And we're gonna try and close down Phil if we can. Unfortunately, all of the cars that are retired were running behind us when they retired, so it didn't really make much of a difference. No incidents up front. There were a few people racing throughout the race at the moment. I believe it's Antoine, the 2 Alpines, and Captain Liam who are racing over P4, I think. So it'll be interesting to see who wins out in that one. I'm staying with Phil. Mintblock has definitely caught up with us at this point. He's only 1.3 seconds behind us. So yeah, he's definitely going to potentially go for a move on us before the end of the race. We're braking quite deep into the corners. The performance of these medium tyres is starting to fall off a little bit now. We've been on them for 8 laps already. They should still be holding up all right, but I definitely think that they have a reduced level of efficiency compared to when we first got on them. But we are staying with Phil nonetheless. You know, maybe he's worn out his hard tyres quite a bit. I don't know. Hopefully we can mount a bit of an attack on him before the end of the race. And well, we're actually way close to the back of him now. Mintblock right on the back of us as well. And I'm going to have to try and burn some battery. 1, to stay ahead of Mint, and 2, to see if I can go for an overtake on Phil. And this time we're going to have to make it permanent with the DRS. We are very far ahead of him by the time we make it to the corner. And well, now we just got to see if we can hold on to this. But once again, the problem arose that as soon as as he tags me up the backside there, actually, we were lucky not to go into a bit of a spin there. The problem arose that as soon as I got ahead of him, I just felt like I couldn't take the corners optimally anymore. It felt like the braking performance of the car was weaker or something like that. I don't know what the issue was. But yeah, for some reason in the dirty air I was actually faster than when I was racing in clean air, which I didn't quite get. But it meant that Phil just stayed with us the whole time as we do actually manage to take a pretty decent corner there. And yeah, we might be able to just about stay ahead on this occasion. But once the DRS comes in, I reckon that we're gonna be under pressure once again as he dives up the inside there. We're gonna be wheel to wheel in this section once again. This time it's him on my outside through this next corner, and he does eventually back out of it, allowing us through. But we're gonna have to have a good run through the S's this time. We can't afford to take it how we took it last time we were leading him through the S's. It was a bit better this time, but I still don't think it's going to be good enough to break away from him. And I reckon we're going to be coming under pressure in the DRS zone once again. He's only 2 tenths down on us. We don't really have the battery left to fight with, unfortunately. We've only got a tiny bit left, and I've braked a little bit deep into the corner, which may affect our chances. You can see he's only 3 tenths down on us. I think he's probably going to go for the move here. So yeah, up the inside goes Phil, and once again we have to kiss goodbye to that point. Will we be able to stay with him and battle him in the next DRS zone? Who knows? But yeah, at the moment it's not looking likely as we go a little bit deep into that next corner, and that's just going to allow him to brake further and further away. There's only a few laps left as Mintblock dives up my inside, That was a little bit of a cheeky move there, and it also opened the door for Josh. So we've lost 3 positions on this lap. We're down to P13. Of course, Mint and Josh both have 3-second time penalties. So it's another one of those instances where I'm like, I don't really know what they're hoping to achieve. Maybe Mint thought he could break away 3 seconds from me to get that point, but I didn't really see it happening. You know, he's on old, worn-out soft compound tyres. It seemed really unlikely he was going to be able to build that kind of gap. But, you know, maybe he would be able to do it. I don't know. But, yeah, we're on to lap 19 now. Just 2 laps before the end. And I'm going to see if I can stay with these guys to try and capitalise on maybe a little bit of late squabbling between the likes of Phil and Mint, perhaps. Or even between Josh and Mint. Or, you know, any of these guys, potentially. It looks like there is a bit of battling into the corner. That's allowed Josh to get ahead of Mint there, and Mint has braked very early there to avoid going into Josh, and the whole time this is just holding me up further and further. Yeah, I see why they call him Mint Block, because what he's doing right now is very, very frustrating for me. I really wanted to catch up with these guys in front and maybe challenge Phil for a point, but for some reason Mint was driving like he was the rear gunner for Phil or something like that. Like his sole mission was just not allowing me to even get close. That really frustrated me, because that basically put me immediately out of points contention before we even got onto this lap. Now I'm just going to have to hope for an incident between Josh and Phil here, I think. That's about the only way I'm going to have any chance of getting back into those points. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see what we can do. We're on the final lap now of the Grand Prix. The leaders are starting to come into the final sector already, such as the pace that they were showing during this race. We were a lot slower, but we did get caught up in quite a lot of battling, whereas I think especially for Freddie, who he was quite pacey compared to everyone else, he kind of just ran away with this one. He had a very, very simple race, I think. And if you look on the minimap now, you can see the Williams is rounding the final corner, and he is going to cross the line to take P1. And then it looks like it is the AlphaTauri of Dustin and the Aston Martin of Dougie crossing the line to take P3. Meanwhile, there's a battle going on here between Josh and Mint. They make a bit of contact. Josh goes off the road a tiny bit, but, you know, I think all is fair, hard racing. And, Josh has gone quite deep into that corner, and that's caused him to have a bit of an oversteer moment. That's allowed us to overtake. We're going to get P11, because Mint Block, of course, does have that 3-second time penalty. And, yeah, we are making our way around the final few corners now. We're not going to be able to beat Phil for that P10, unfortunately. But, yeah, we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer to score points. It's going to be P10 for Phil as he crosses the line, P11 for Mint, but that will be bumped down to P12 once the penalty is applied, and we are promoted up into P11 as a result of that. A really difficult race. Just didn't have the pace to race in the top 10 today. I don't think we needed some more incidents, maybe some rain or something like that. I don't know, but in any case, it is P11. It's probably one of the stronger races that I've done this season. You know, when you compare that to the connection problems I was having in Spain and just my general shitness in Japan, this was probably the best race I've driven so far this season. But still, we're just not on the pace of the rest of these guys. So yeah, we're gonna have to regroup, figure something out for the next race, which is Hungary. It might rain there. Either way, it's a bit more of a technical track. I don't know if that favours me or not, but yeah, if it rains, I really think that we have a really strong chance of scoring points there. So yeah, for whatever reason, we didn't seem to get a podium ceremony here. Oh no, here we do. I don't know why it played the music then. I thought it was just going to send us straight back into the menu. But yeah, as you can see, oh, I think maybe Dustin had a penalty by the looks of things, because it is Dougie P2, but Freddie wins nonetheless, with Dougie in the Aston Martin in P2 and Dustin in the AlphaTauri in P3. Back to our regularly scheduled programming, as we see Dougie and Dustin in P2 and P3. They were kind of down the order, had yet to score points in this season, either of them, until this point, due to some DNFs that had happened in the previous couple races. But yeah, we are still without points, and we are the only driver to have raced in all three races so far that's yet to score a point. Everyone else has done it. Even Jermaine, who I would say me and him are pretty sort of even on pace. Maybe I'm even slightly ahead if I was sort of evaluating myself honestly. So yeah, a little bit disappointed. But yeah, it's Freddie P1, Dougie P2, Dustin P3, Lewis P4, Antoine P5, Anto, Liam, Ryan, Alex, and Phil were the top 10. And we finished P11 there. 3 DNFs. And yeah, a pretty interesting race. Lots of penalties. Wasn't really expecting that because I didn't get a penalty, so I kind of assumed it was fairly straightforward. But that is going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.